Hi, my name's Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Nathan.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I work for Autism Bedfordshire, supporting young people up to the age of 25 who are at risk of admission to a mental health hospital and are autistic. If we feel boundaries are being crossed, how can we manage this and be supportive to both sides?
Boundaries can sometimes be a little bit of a tricky one because in a neurotypical world, we can often identify what boundaries are and what boundaries are in place without them being explicitly stated. For somebody that's autistic, that might be a little bit more difficult. So I think first and foremost, those boundaries need to be made clear. It would be unfair to judge somebody against a boundary that they are not aware is a boundary, if that makes sense. And that might sound silly, but somebody doesn't know what they don't know. So I think first and foremost, making that boundary and those expectations really clear in a way that's accessible to them. And then I think having an open and honest conversation about it. I think what we hear a lot from the people that we work with is they would really appreciate things to just be explained more. They would really appreciate honesty. And I think trying to beat around the bush doesn't necessarily help all the time. I think if you're able to just say, look, this is a situation, these are our boundaries as we've made you aware of, this situation has occurred, we feel you've crossed that boundary, what can we do to address it? Just coming at it from an equal playing field, you need to disrupt those power imbalances. It's not about us and them, it's just working together and working collaboratively so that you can continue with that support.
It's not about taking sides, it's about listening to both parties or whoever's involved and letting them know that they're not in the wrong. It's coming together to sort out any problems. Problem solving doesn't just have to be done by one person, it can be done by multiple people. Everyone's different. I'm different, you're different, everyone who's watching this is different, so we all have different opinions, beliefs, and that's fine. Everyone can have those different opinions, but it's coming together to find a middle ground and yeah.
You know, in our work as well, sometimes we have to set some quite good boundaries about what our remit is and what we can do and what we can't do. And I think setting that out early of what your expectations are of them and what they can expect of you is a really good way of managing this so that so that they're never crossed.
Yes.
But expect them to be crossed at some point, probably because of miscommunication, which is really easy. But I think just a reminder of those boundaries, and whether you then have to make that a visual reminder
Yes.
of the boundaries at some point.
You might have a verbal conversation and somebody might not process that. Whereas if they can have something written down, they can process it in their own time, having the opportunity to come back and ask questions. That open forum and open discussion is really valuable.
But, staying calm about it and realising that in all possibilities, then not doing it for any other reason other than possibly anxiety or possibly trying to control something which is hard for them to control.
I think back to when I was a child, I crossed the line or challenged the boundaries many a times because I wanted to see what the person on the other side, what their character is like. If I knew that they were going to come back and tell me that I need to wind it in or or do something, I needed that. So sometimes people cross those boundaries because they want to make sure that they're safe. They want to make sure the support they're getting from you is going to be what they need and what they want.
Yeah, and make them feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Communication is really important. So if you're bothered by it, and this, again, on both sides for the patient and the staff, talk about it early.
Yes.
And address it early so that it doesn't grow.